impossible little rhododendrons, and welcome to another episode of Homeschooling with the Nincompoops. My name is Professor Andy Stanton, and I am here to educate you about words. There are so many words in the English language, so many words everywhere you go. There are words. One person once tried to count all the words in the English language, and he started in 1942 counting the words, and he's still counting them today. He's an old man now, about 124, but he's still there going, and then also he keeps losing count because he keeps doing it and trying to keep it all in his head, and then he goes, how many was I on again? Was I 25 billion or 25 billion on one? And then his brains explode and he has to start all over again. Aardvark. Don't try and count the words in the English language. There's too many. What we can do is take one word at a time. And we can do that by using the big book of words called the niRcompOOps. And niRcompOOps is a lovely big book of words. It's got all the words in the English language. I'm going to open it at random, pick a word for today, and tell you all about that word. And today's word is, demonstrate. Demonstrate. How can I demonstrate the word demonstrate? Well, demonstrate means to show you how things are by demonstrating it. So you can demonstrate the word. This is how you do it. You have to make shapes of the letters, I think. Yeah, that's how. So for example, I'm going to be a massive D. D. See? D. That's the D for demo. And then let me demonstrate the next letter is an E. An E is like that. Demonstrate. See? Kind of. The E goes like E. What? See? And then the M is an easy one. So you go dem. Oh. And then N is a bit. And then the S is a very hard wiggly fellow. It's a bit. S, demons, yeah? See the S, kind of? Bit. And then the T, there you go, that's an easy one. T. Demonst, then. Oh, you see what I mean? A bit. Look, let's see. R. Yeah, do you see? And demonstrating the word demonstrate. And then A, that's an easy one, isn't it? A, can you see the A? Lovely A. A is for aardvark, remember? And then another T, you've done that one already. And then we've got to do an E again, which is an annoying one. There's the, oh look, the E. Do you see? So, I have now demonstrated the word demonstrate. It is a very tiring business demonstrating the word demonstrate. To demonstrate, I will pick one more word to demonstrate. Let's hope it's not a very long word, shall we? At random. Oh no. Crusade. All right, let's demonstrate the word crusade for you. But show you. That's quite good. How did I do that R before? R, yeah, see? Can you sort of see how that's an R? Never mind. U, that's you. We've got to do a wiggly S again. I'm getting quite good at them. A, the D, there you go. Oh, I can't remember how to do it. There you go, the D. And then our old friend that I'm getting quite good at, E, crusade. Thank you very much for watching. You've been watching Joe Wicks's PE show. Thank you. Oh, I'm exhausted. I can't keep doing this.
Hello, my squeaky little dragon fruits. It's homeschooling time. It's homeschooling time with the niNcompOOps, which is, the best part of the day, clearly. I'm Dr. Carrie Quinlan, I know loads of stuff. I know more than 4 things. So listen and learn. And together with Professor Andy Stanton, who knows nearly that many things, I present Ask the Nincompoops podcast, where we teach children stuff and they learn. And we are now doing these videos so that more children can learn more stuff and more learning can go on, even though the world has gone mad. So, what we're going to use, like I always use, St Dictionary's Book of Wubs. It works upside down and the right way up. Amazing! Today's wub is beef. Beef. Now, beef is a posh word for cows, and beef is also a word for having a bit of an argument or having a bit of being annoyed with someone. If you got beef, right? You got beef with someone, you got a problem with them, and you got to sort out your beef with someone. And it started, of course, that usage of the word beef, over an argument between 2 cows. You know what a cow is, obviously. Professor Andy Stanton has already explained what a cow is.
Cow. Cow. Right. Well, a cow. This is so easy if you don't know, by the way. Don't worry, I'm here to... A cow. And back in the day, when cows ruled the world, so this was like, so in between dinosaurs ruling the world and humans ruling the world was ruled by cows. There they are. No, they're right there. So the cows ruled the world, and cow empires were born, and cow civilization. It was a beautiful thing. They built some incredible things. They built the pyramids. They built water slides. They built centre parks, which is why it's called centre parks, and why when you drive into centre parks, you're welcomed with mooing. So cows ruled the world, but of course, when empires grow and civilizations grow and all that kind of stuff, politics happens. And politics obviously is a real problem. And apart from the fact that it can be really boring, it involves a lot of disagreement and a lot of argument, often, politics. And I mean, that's with human politics can be like that. Dinosaur politics was totally like that. Oh, the carnivores and the herbivores, and it was a nightmare. And with cows, it was very much the same. So different competing political ideologies grew up, different cow nations grew up, and they'd argue about stuff. They'd argue about milk. They'd argue what was the best kind of grass. They'd argue how to cook grass, or indeed not to. They'd argue about who had the most stomachs, and all that kind of. And it all became this huge, great argument. And that is where beef comes from, because they had so many disagreements with each other. They called it was just like the whole cow thing. They called it beef. I've got a beef with you. I got a beef with you because my udders are better than your udders. I got a beef with you because I got 7 stomachs and you've only got 6. I don't know. And all of this stuff kicked off, and they'd have arguments about who had the best pets, whether socialism or capitalism was the way forward for cow society. So much politics, and they had so many arguments. They called their cow politics beef, and that's where it comes from. The term beef for an argument. If you've got beef with someone, it basically means that you are a cow who disagrees with another cow. That's where that comes from. So tell your parents, then they can learn something as well for a change. And come back, and Andy Stanton, Professor of all, will teach you another word. So that's pretty cool. And if you want to learn even more things from us,
you can watch all of these videos, which would be great. Subscribe and tell your friends. And you can also listen to the Ask the NiNcompOOps podcast, which is down there. I mean, the actual podcast isn't down there. A link to the podcast is down here. So, we'll see you next time. Whatever that means!
Hello, you invisible little glowworms. It's another day of homeschooling, and that means another episode of Homeschooling with the NiNcompOOps. Who am I, you might be asking? I am Professor Andy Stanton, and I am an extraordinary teacher of the English language. The English language is excellent because it is made up of words. Words get everywhere in life. Words get inside books. They come out of people's mouths, but they're a bit invisible. They get all over your jumper. If you accidentally say some words and they fall on your jumper, then they turn into this. This was just a yellow jumper, but then I said, nothing can stop Prince and the MPG, and the words fell out and dribbled all over my jumper. Words get everywhere. They get on the covers of records. There's a brilliant record, one of my favourite records by the Pelicans. It's a brilliant band, the Pelicans. So words are so important to know about. I have a big book of words here. It's got all the words in the English language in it. It's called the Narakshadoni. Narakshadoni. And what we're going to do is pick one word at random, just one little tiny teensy word, and educate you by telling you all about that word. I'll pick at random. Instinct. Instinct. Do you know what an instinct is? An instinct is when you think, I don't really know anything, but I've got an instinct. A lot of animals have instincts. An animal's instinct is, for example, a cat might just go like, I've got a massive instinct that I should totally go and play in that cardboard box for about an hour. That is one of the biggest instincts a cat has. That is called the cardboard box instinct. And that was discovered by a scientist who was also a cat himself. He was called Professor Choops. Professor Choops discovered the cat's instinct because he was a cat himself. And this was back in 1855. And he was walking around Germany, which is a small town in Spain. And he was thinking to himself, I wonder why, because I am a cat, I always want to play in a cardboard box. He noticed that his wife, who was called Frida, was also playing in a cardboard box, and then he noticed he had a son called Tony, and Tony had a cardboard box. All of the other cats had a cardboard box. He thought, oh, there must be some reason we all like playing in cardboard boxes so much. Me, Frida, Tony. So what he did was he put some chemicals together. He found a sack of old flour that used to make bread, and he found some lemon juice, and he put the flour and the lemon juice together. And if you put flour and lemon juice together, that you make something that is called science testing juice. And with the science testing juice, then he just dribbled a bit of the floury lemon juice into his wife's ear, and she went, what are you doing, Professor Choops? And he went, oh, don't worry about it, Frida, I'm just figuring out why we all go in cardboard boxes. Anyway, the flour and the lemon juice went into Frida's brain, and they investigated what was happening in her thoughts. And then about a day later, the flour and the lemon juice came out of Frida's other bit of her body, and Professor Choops collected it up in a spoon, and he put it under the microscope, and the flour and the lemon juice said, it reported back to him on what had been happening in his wife Frida's brain. And the flour and the lemon juice reported back that there is a part of the brain called the box of instincts, and we all have it, whether we're a cat or an ant or a person or a table, we all have a part of our brain called the box of instincts. For a cat, that means go and play in a cardboard box, dribble on somebody's lap, just try and get as much food as you can and do nothing. Those are the instincts. For a human, the instincts are more about like buy some sweets, sit at home watching Netflix, and also play in a cardboard box. Some people like to play in a cardboard box, don't they? So those are what instincts are. Instincts are the part of your brain called the box of instincts that tells you what to do. It goes, I don't really know why I want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that is science. Now, it's been very nice of you to listen to me. I'm now off to play in a cardboard box. Back with you next time will be Dr. Carrie Quinlan explaining the meaning of another word. But until then, use your instincts. Trust your mind. Think about the things that you can find. Everywhere there's learning to be had. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hello, my gritty little houseplants. How are you today? You're well, I hope. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, Dr. Carrie Quinlan, because I know stuff, they've been asking me, what happened to that cat that was in your first video? Where's that gone then? Did I dream it? You didn't dream it. It just turns out that he's a very lazy cat. He is, in fact, asleep over there. I'm going to show you because he's snoring. And I think you might enjoy this. So he's over here. When he snores, we call him the cat trumpet. Here he is. Yeah, there he is. So he does exist, but he doesn't really climb into the videos so much anymore because he's too lazy. He's not even bothered. Now, today, homeschooling. We've got a word to learn. The word we're going to learn today is task. Task. Now, a task is a thing you have to do. A task, it can be your homework. Homework is a task. It can be mowing the lawn. That's a task. It can be writing Bohemian Rhapsody. That's a task. But you don't need to write Bohemian Rhapsody. That doesn't need to be your task. Someone else has already done that. So the beautiful thing about that task is you can tick it off. You can have a little list. You could write to do at the top, put your tasks, and you could put homework, mow the lawn. Quite like mowing the lawn. Write Bohemian Rhapsody. You can tick that one off already because that's done. Someone's already done that. Freddie's been all over that and he sorted it. Now, what was the first task ever, you ask? I don't know. No one knows. That's a daft question. Think about something more important. Well, now, what's the last task ever done? That's a good one. Now, that is an interesting one because the universe is billions of years old. Okay, well, it started with the Big Blend. Watch that video if you haven't already, and it will continue until it all runs out. Because behind the universe, there's someone cycling really hard on a little exercise machine that's linked up to what's making the universe turn, and then that in turn is making all the planets turn and sort of sorting out stars and moons and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so in fact, that is someone's task, right? Cycling to keep the universe going. So when the universe finally runs out, that'll mean that whoever's riding the bicycle has got far too tired and is just too tired to do their task anymore, and so they'll stop cycling. You say that'll be the last task then, cycling to keep the universe going. And you would be wrong, my friend, because once the cycling finishes, someone's got to turn the lights off. So the last task is It's very much like if you've got to think of the universe as your home. Partly because that's quite a useful analogy, and partly because the universe is your home. So if you think of it like that, and you think of the end of the universe, which is billions and billions of years away. I mean, the cyclist isn't going to get tired for ages. They've got amazing legs. It's like Chris Hoy. Google Chris Hoy's legs. They're amazing. It's a cyclist like that. Okay. So it's going to be billions of years time. But when the cyclist finally gets tired and stops and gets off their bike, then it'll be like when everyone goes to bed in the house. And the last thing you do, you check, so they'll finish cycling, they'll check the cats are in, and asleep, yeah? Yep, still asleep. So lazy. Check the cats are in and check that the windows are shut. And the last thing, turn out the lights. So the last task is very much the last task on a daily basis. The last task in the universe will be turning the lights off once we've finished all of that cycling. So that's a task. So you've probably got a task to do next, which is perhaps subscribe to this and then listen to Ask the Nincompoops, which is down here, and subscribe to that and maybe give it a blisteringly good review, something like that. And then your next task is to come back next time and listen to Professor Andy Stanton tell you about another word from St Dictionary's classic book. So there you go. Enjoy the rest of the day. Whatever that means.
Hello, you inside-out little sandwiches, and welcome to another episode of Homeschooling with the Nincompoops. Yay! My name is Professor Andy Stanton. I'm extremely intelligent sort of a fellow. I've got so many brains, one in my face, and I've got another brain in my arm, and I've got some other brains all over my feet. They're enormous. It's very hard to find shoes that fit because I have so many minds pulsing away all over my feet. Even my big toe is cleverer than a wolf. Right, now, what are we doing on Homeschooling with the Nincompoops? We are homeschooling you at home by teaching you about words from the Narachidoni. The Narachidoni is the big book of words, and it tells you what all the words are, but we are going to pick a word at random and then educate you with knowledges from our brains, or maybe I'll use my toe brain to tell you the truths. Here we go. Let's see what today's word is going to be at random. Oh. Today's word is quiet. Now, it's very important that you all understand what the word quiet means. Quiet is when people do not speak very loudly. Quiet is when a car doesn't go, but instead it sort of goes. Quiet is a very beautiful thing. It is very beautiful to fill our heads with quiet and have a bit of peace and quiet, have some silence. It's very important to be very restful. It is very, 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 very important that you don't just listen to loud people shouting all the time and music that goes book, 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 especially when everybody's at home trying to do school learning, and then the guy in the next house is just going, yeah, I'm going to listen to my tunes, and they go book, and you're just like, I am just trying to sleep, and then he goes, well, I won't play my music if you stop snoring, and then you go, I don't snore, and then he goes, yeah, you do, this is what you're like when you're asleep, and you go, how dare you? And then he says, don't speak to me like that. And then that just goes to show that people just need quiet. They need more quiet in their lives, don't they? They need more quiet. And then other things in life are when people just always getting in your face, aren't they? They're just hassling you. just really getting close up to you when they shouldn't be getting close up, especially not now when everybody should be keeping far away, but everyone's just going, "Ah!" And then all you can see is a horrible stinky mouth all over your screen. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened there really, because it's just, I think sometimes when you're doing edumacation, you just get a bit overexcited. I think that will be enough for today, and I will go away and be very quiet. Thank you so much for watching our homeschooling with the nincompoops videos. If you like our homeschooling with the nincompoops videos, then you should also check out our podcast, which is not quite as noisy as this. There is a link to our podcast below this video. Look under the video and go away. Have a nice day. Don't shout at people, just be quiet.